St. Vincent puts pressure on the Trinidad government to pay up promised funds for shareholders of failed insurance company BICO. And in sport, Guyana Jaguars dominate the opening day of the 8th round of the regional 4-day championship. I'm Nicole Best, and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Friday, January 15. That's January 5. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Did you know that a strategy has been developed to help improve the region's education and human resources?
You didn't? Well, the HID strategy, as it is called, will guide CARICOM in how it delivers quality education and training to the people of the region.
The strategy has been crafted by a group of experts called the HRD Commission.
Consultations have been done across the region to get your input.
Do you know that none of us will be left behind?
The HRD strategy is important to all of us, students, parents, and employers. It will prepare the region, especially the youth, for the 21st century economy and society.
The HRD strategy, unlocking Caribbean human potential.
Coming up on 21st Century. Today, a special focus on climate change. In the United States, changing houses to heal the planet. Argentina's winemakers cultivate sustainability. And in Morocco, women sowing the seeds for a better future.
Silently around us, all of our buildings are burning energy.
The St. Vincent and the Grenadines government says it will seek assistance from other CARICOM countries to get Trinidad and Tobago to pay the rest of the $100 million it pledged to deal with the fallout of the failed British-American insurance company BICO. BICO was among the companies owned by the Trinidad-based CL Financial Group that collapsed in 2009, resulting in successive governments in the Twin Island Republic pumping billions of dollars into a bailout plan. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says the former People's Partnership government had paid $34 million of the $100 million but the Keith Rowley administration that came to office in 2015 has not made a single payment. He said his government has been holding talks with the government in Port of Spain to get the remaining funds, but every time the issue is raised, it says it's not in a position to pay. Gonsalves says he has asked CARICOM Secretary General Erwin Larocque to place the matter on the agenda for the CARICOM intercessional meeting to be held in Haiti next month. Trinidad and Tobago's opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar is meeting with Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley today to discuss the selection of a successor for President Anthony Carmona. She says she's going into the talks with an open mind. But as we hear in this report from Jewel Brown of TV6 News, Persad-Bissessar also says she wants to guard against next president being a puppet of the ruling People's National Movement.
But I'm fearful from matters that are coming to our attention from sources that the government already has a person in mind, a candidate in mind, and we trust that such a candidate will not be, as I say, just a puppet and a mouthpiece to be run by the puppet master from the government and from the executive.
President Anthony Carmona was elected into office by the Electoral College in 2013 when Mrs. Persad-Bissessar was the Prime Minister and Dr. Rowley was the opposition leader. Mr. Carmona's term in office ends on March 19th.
The president has very important functions, which includes the appointment of judges, which will include the appointment of independent senators. And in fact, the story is coming to us now that the intention is to place a president in office who will remove all the existing independents and in fact place again stooges or puppets of the ruling party.
Mrs. Persad-Bissessar said these are just rumors. However,
we cannot have where the executive, the judiciary, and the office of the president are all in collusion on the basis of the rumors that have come forward, the names being put forward as being the candidates of the ruling party. We are very fearful that, you know, this kind of abuse could take place and the blurring of constitutional remit.
A High Court judge in Antigua and Barbuda has dismissed applications by 6 Barbudans seeking to block a controversial piece of legislation governing land ownership in the sister isle. In an 8-page ruling delivered yesterday, Justice Claire Henry struck out the application filed against Prime Minister Gaston Brown and Attorney General Steroy Benjamin by the 6 who wanted a declaration that the government acted unreasonably and contrary to the principles of natural justice and democracy when it sought to enact the Barbudan Land Management Amendment Act 2017. The applicants said they represented the views of Barbudans opposed to the legislation and were seeking permission from the court to begin a judicial review as well as an interim injunction restraining the Prime Minister and members of the government from promoting and/or proposing the adoption of the act. They say no consent had been given by the Barbuda Council or the people of Barbuda for such an act to become law. But Justice Henry essentially ruled that there was no reason for intervening at this stage before the legislation has been enacted. The act was passed in the lower house this week and goes before the Senate next week. And the judge contended that the applicants would have had to show that there would be no effective remedy available to them once the legislative process is complete, and that the resultant harm will be material and irreversible unless the court intervenes at an earlier stage. Stay with us. Your midday sport is next. Leaders Guyana Jaguars resumed the regional 4-day championship in the same manner they ended it at the Christmas break by dominating the opening day of the 8th round match against Jamaica Scorpions yesterday. Opting to bowl first at Sabina Park, they bundled out Scorpions for 106 and then reached 75 for 3 at the close, 31 runs adrift of the lead heading into day 2. Tomorrow, the 3-time defending champions were heading to the close strongly at 57 for 1 but lost 2 wickets to lose some of their momentum. Sent in earlier, Scorpions folded meekly with Test batsman Jermaine Blackwood and wicketkeeper Adeline Thomas getting the joint top score of 24. Blackwood and Thomas were 2 of 4 batsmen in double figures but were the only ones to pass 15. Scorpions were undermined by returning West Indies left-arm seamer Raymond Reefer and fellow pacer Kimo Paul, both of whom grabbed 3 wickets apiece. Well, a clash between regional champions Barbados Pride and perennial rivals Trinidad and Tobago Red Force will raise the curtain on this year's regional Super 50 later this month. The match, a day-nighter at Kensington Oval on January 30, will be the feature in a Group A doubleheader that will also see Windward Islands Volcanoes and Combined Campuses and Colleges Marooners battle at 3W's Oval in a 9 a.m. encounter. 10 teams have been divided into 2 groups for the January 30 to February 24 tournament, Group B of which will be contested in Antigua with the night game set for the Coolidge Cricket Ground. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Have yourselves a good afternoon.